You're joking, aren't you? It's the Teesside Chef.
New York
Cheesecake, lads and lasses. This is the best New York cheesecake recipe in my humble opinion, Lots of steps to follow, but you make this for people and they'll be calling you a right smart ass. Listen carefully to this one though, because if you don't do as I say, you're going to knack it. My mate Sean the Pawn wanted to make this, didn't listen to what I said, and now his wife left him, he's homeless, and he's on the sex offenders register. So think on it, pay attention, that's all I'm saying. So now you lot have screwed the nut. Let's get a shift on with it, eh? First, we need to line our cake pan with loads of baking paper. Standard cake pan, this one. And look at this here. Just draw a circle in the middle, cut a strip the length of your paper on each side of it for the edges, and cut out the circle for the bottom of your cake pan. Works like a dream. Plenty of butter on your pan, obviously, to stick the paper. And then you get your paper in, take your time with this, and you'll be all set up to knock people's socks off with how clever you are. Butter the paper when it's all in, and it'll be as neat as a neat thing that's dead neat in Tidy Town. A traditional base is crushed biscuits with butter, and this bit is dead important. The Americans use graham crackers for this. I don't know why they pronounce it graham crackers when it's graham crackers, but forget all that yank nonsense and just use good old British Brexit digestives. Blend 450 grams of your biscuits in your food processor, or put them in a bag and knack them with a rolling pin to fine crumbs. And then add 140 grams of melted butter to our Blitz biscuits and mix it all up until it looks like wet sand. And that looks absolutely tickety-boo, so now we're going to pour half of that into our pan and press it in. Press it in firmly now, don't fanny around with it. I usually get our lass to do this, because she can do it smashing. Arms like Popeye she's got. So keep pressing it down with your hands until it's nice and firm, and if you want to check how thick it is, you can be dead clever and use a little toothpick, stick it in, and then you'll be able to check the thickness of it. Go around and check it in a few places, and when you're happy as Larry with it, you can start building up those sides. Bring the rest of your mixture in, a little bit at a time. Most recipes you see won't do this step because it's hard as nails. But me and you can do it because we're right clever clogs, aren't we? The key is to build it up slowly and make sure it's firm and sticking before you add more to it. All that time I spent building sandcastles on Redcar Beach is coming in dead handy now, like. And once we've built up those edges about 3/4 of the way up our pan sides, we're going to press it down to firm it up around that top edge. And I'm proper top of the class at doing this because I've got big, massive, murderous thumbs. And then that's what it should look like after you've gripped it into submission. Nice and firm and even there. And now we're going to do something a little bit unorthodox and crackers, and we're going to blind bake this base. Preheated oven, 140 degrees fan setting for 20 minutes. You won't see many people doing this with a cheesecake base, but I do this because I'm dead clever, me. I got a C in general studies, me, you know. So once it's baked for 20 minutes, we're going to take it out and take the beans out, and we're going to put it back in the oven to dry out for 5 to 10 minutes. And we're doing everything we can here to make sure that this base is dry and crispy when this cheesecake's fully baked. So once we've put it in to dry out, there it is. That's the base pretty much done now. But there is one more step to do before it's finished, and that is to brush it with some beaten egg white. So let's beat our egg white here, and then brush it all on that base and get it all boxed off. It's great egg white, isn't it? It's dead versatile. You can do meringues with it, you can seal tart bases with it. You can use it to make dead fancy macarons. And if the radiator goes on your car at Scotch Corner, you can throw it in there and it'll get you back to Teesside. Probably. So now that tart base is all brushed with the egg white, we're going to put it back in the oven for about 6 or 7 minutes to set the egg white. And that's going to make our base ship shape and road legal, ready for the filling. And we're using 900 grams of cream cheese to start with for the filling. And we're going to rough it up a bit to smooth it all out and homogenize it. And next I'm going to add 50 grams of cornstarch to 200 grams of caster sugar, and I'm going to mix it all in together to make sure that cornstarch is evenly distributed. And then we'll add that to our cream cheese and stir it all up. The most important thing with this cheesecake is the cheese you use. Don't use cheap Quick Save Zone or any of that shite. You need to use a premium brand. I'm not going to say which one, but Tom Hanks did a film about it, and Bruce Springsteen sang a song about it. If they give me 10 grand, I'll mention which one it is, but they're not getting free advertising out of me. Multinational faceless conglomerates. Hey, here's a water bath, look. And I'm going to put this at the bottom of the oven for some reason. They say that it makes your cheesecake bake more evenly, and you know what? They might be right, because I've never had a nightmare when I've done this. So let's build up the flavours on our cheesecake now, So I'm going in with a teaspoon of lemon zest here, and 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. And this epic dessert deserves a vanilla pod. Even though vanilla costs more pound for pound than council tax, it's well worth you putting it in, because this is absolutely class, this. So just cut your vanilla pod in half and scrape the beans out with a knife, and then add them to the rest of your mix, and then we're going to give it a good stir up. And once that's all stirred up and all that sugar's had a chance to dissolve and all those flavours have mingled, it's time to go in with our eggs, and that's 3 eggs and that spare yolk that you had from earlier. And that's about 200 grams of eggs altogether. So add the gently beaten eggs to the mix. You don't want to mix too much here. You don't want to incorporate too much air into the cheesecake, because when it bakes in the oven, it'll puff up like Prince Nassim, and then when it cools, it'll crack up like Britney Spears. And we don't want that to happen, so just be nice and gentle when you're mixing this in, And once you're 100% certain that that's all mixed in, it's time to add some sour cream, 200 millilitres of sour cream, or 200 millilitres of double cream to the mix now, and then give it a good stir up. I suppose sour cream would give you more of a sour flavour, hence the name. But I've used both loads of times, and to be honest, I can't tell the difference. So it's up to you, innit? But no matter which one you use, and I can't emphasise this enough, when you're stirring it in and mixing it in, be gentle. Don't incorporate too much air into that mix. So that looks like it's coming together now nicely. And now we've mixed all that up dead easy doors. We can add it to our fully cooled and sealed biscuit base. This is going to absolutely blow you away when this is done. You don't even realise it. It's going to absolutely amaze you. I just wish I could be there when you have a piece of this for the first time, And hey, while I'm here, don't forget to like this video, and don't forget to subscribe either, and turn the notifications on. Then you'll be able to keep up with all my other absolutely class content, won't you? And if you like, leave a comment. We'll have a little bit of crack, So now our filling's in our base. We're going to just flatten it all out a little bit and just make it all even on top. So just sort of give it a shake, and that'll level it all out on top. And again, we might be going over the top a little bit here, but if you're going to do it, you might as well do it right, mate, and have it coming out of the oven looking absolutely spot on. And in the interests of conscientiousness, or if you have OCD about these things like I do, you can just go around and check for any little air bubbles, and if you come across any, you just use your toothpick just to pop them all. And when you've popped all those little bubbles on top there, because there probably will be a few, then this will be ready to go in the oven. Preheated oven, by the way, and this is dead important, so listen up. Get it on a tray, bake it in the middle of the oven. Remember, you've got that water bath at the bottom of your oven. 200 degrees fan setting for 15 minutes, and then you want to turn your oven down to 90 degrees fan setting and bake it for a further full 1 hour. And then you want to leave it in the oven, turn the oven off, and leave it in the oven for at least another 2 hours. And when you take it out, it might still be a little bit wobbly. And that's still a little bit wobbly in the middle there. I don't know if you can make that out. I'm trying to shake it to show you. But it's shaking like a shitting dog at a windy bus stop, that. And before we put that in the fridge to chill fully overnight, we're going to let it come to room temperature first on your work surface or somewhere. And that's the cheesecake nailed down, mate. So now let's make a lovely little raspberry sauce for it. So I'm going to go in my blender with 500 grams of raspberries here. And I'm going to add 100 grams of icing sugar to that, powdered sugar. Give it a bit of a stir together and then blend it in my machine. And then we want to sieve all those rat's little raspberry seeds out of it all. I just don't see the point in raspberry seeds. I don't even know why they put them in raspberries. Probably all some conspiracy by raspberry makers. So once you've sieved them all out, give it a good stir up and that's your sauce done. And now let's bring our cheesecake back in here, and get it all out of this pan here. And it is pretty solid and firm here because it's been in the fridge all night, hasn't it? But I still can't help being dead careful with it, because it's just too precious to break and ruin, And once it's out, let's test the crust, give it a little tap, and it's nice and firm, and it's lovely and dry and crisp. And the only thing left to do now is plate it up and serve it, because it's ready, and that's it. Now let's go. Oh, it's looking absolutely class, that. Absolutely class. Can't wait to get a piece of it fired into me. And there you are. There's the money shot. And that's it. It does take ages this but it is worth it. When Sean the Pawn was trying to make this, by the time it was ready to eat, he'd already been arrested, charged, convicted and incarcerated. No. I don't go visit him no. I don't talk to him anymore, to be fair. The less said about all that nonsense, the better, to be fair, So let's drizzle a little bit of this raspberry sauce on here now, and that goes perfect with a New York cheesecake, you know. Your mouth's watering there, isn't it? I can tell that your mouth's watering there when you're watching that. And let's take a piece here so you can see that texture. It's lovely and smooth. It's more like a baked custard than a cheesecake, to be honest. And let's take a piece from the back from that base so you can see how that base reacts there. Dry and crisp. And just to prove I'm not pulling your pisser, let's have a little close-up and give it a little scrape just to make sure. And that looks absolutely perfect to me. I don't know about you, but it looks absolutely perfect to me, And you just can't stop eating this once you start because it's just so good. So make sure you've got a membership to a gym somewhere before you bake this, and you'll have it all nailed down. All right, everyone. Hey, that was an absolute pleasure, that one. I enjoyed it so much with you that you're welcome any time. So come and see us again, eh? Hey, I'll catch you after, all right? Make sure you look after yourselves. Ta-ra.